Welcome back, dear friends. I hope the previous chapter left a gentle echo in your heart. Today, I invite you to join me on an illustrious voyage to the Queen of Hills. Let us travel together, not just through landscapes, but through memory, meaning, and mist. Before we begin, a gentle pause. If this journey stirs something in you, consider subscribing and sharing it with your friends and kindred, would be great. Now let us begin the voyage. It had always been a blessing that our home was close to the town bus stop, hardly 100 steps apart. As I was just reaching the bus stop, I saw the bus coming. Lucky today, I said to myself. But only after the second look, I realized that I was not lucky at all, but awaiting a hard time. The bus had developed tummies in two places and I joined in to increase the size of one. People were hanging out from the doorways of the bus with hardly any foothold, that included myself too. Right, says the bus conductor and the bus zooms off. The next 15 minutes seemed eternity. By the time I alight, do I say that, or the words thrown out would be more appropriate, from the town bus and reach the outstation bus terminal, I am worn out, only happy to be alive, still. Ooty is a well-visited tourist center in India and there are always huge crowds to board the bus. Though the frequency of a bus is every half an hour, still, the queue extends, at least, a furlong or more. After a good wait, I board the bus during my turn. I was able to get a seat, only in the last row, squeezed in between two well-fed gentlemen. Life is always full of experiences and this time, I was experiencing the feeling of a sandwich filling, that too, in between two fat slices. Sandwich fillings are the taste givers, but the most forgotten lot too. Even in the society, the rich take care of themselves, the governments take care of the poor, but the plight of the middle class, the sandwich filling, of the society, is pathetic. They are the ones who serve the rich. They are the ones who help the poor and they are the ones who stand helpless, in their distressing moments. Even God takes a vacation, when it comes to fulfilling their prayer calls. Coming back to the journey, a fully packed bus begins its journey to Ooty. The town of Ooty, once the summer capital, during the colonial rule, is situated in the Nilgiri Hills, a segment of the Western Ghats and it takes a little more than 3 hours, from my place, to reach there. Ours, an Ashok Leyland bus, well advanced in age, moves among the never-ending traffic, driven by an experienced driver, who is also, well advanced in age, manhandling a steering wheel, much larger than his size. The well-fed gentleman to my left had already started snoring, with his huge head, slumped on my, already aching, small shoulder. Man, he must be having a lot of stuff in between his ears, a very heavy head, it was. Luckily, the well-fed gentleman, to my right, a goodly man, had settled to read a vernacular magazine and myself, the sandwich filling, was blinking myself off, not knowing what to do, thinking of my ailing uncle and Aunt May, who was the only person at his side, for the time being. To be the filling of a sandwich, is not so easy, I say. That too, in between two thick slices and a jumpy ride. The bus had left the city and was speeding on the highway. Though the bus was an old one, it was in a good running condition, except for the jumpy shock absorbers, for the young man in the last seat. The bus conductor had given the tickets and settled in his seat, at the front. We were crossing hamlets and towns en route. Countryside is always a refreshing experience, after the hustle and bustle of city life. It was nice to see the cattle and sheep, quietly grazing and wondering, when their pronouncement, to be killed, is due. I always felt pity for them and wondered, if the Creator had made a mistake, by creating live food. Hope humans do not face the same situation. Only then, they will ever understand, the plight of these little ones. At least now, I am happy, that I had become a vegetarian. This has nothing to do with religion or any superstition, just an aversion and dislike to murder those wailing animals and birds and then eat them. The shepherds were chatting in a corner, with beedies and tea and dogs playing around them. It was nice to see all these, while passing by. After crossing a small town in the foothills, it is uphill from a few kilometers thereof. There is a railway crossing just before touching the foothills, and the only train that comes by is the Heritage meter gauge rack railway train fitted with a steam engine and plies between Mettupalayam and Ooty at a speed of 10 kilometers per hour. The Nilgiri rail route was constructed during the colonial rule and is still an amazing operational relic of the British rule in India. It winds through the scenic mountains with its breathtaking flora and fauna and tunnels in between, making it the most enjoyable journey for the tourists who visit the Nilgiris. The compartments have long wooden bench seats facing each other from one end of the compartment to the other end, with doors at both sides for every 2 seats. There is only one first-class compartment that has cushion seats. In all, if one is a tourist and seated anywhere in this train, the journey is a memorable one. The Ghat section drive is joy to many, but sickening to a few and a nightmare to those sitting close to those few. As the ascent begins, the altitude increases, also, the roads are winding. So, some people get giddy, some puke. Luckily, I was in the middle seat. My well-fed neighbor, to my right, was unfortunately at the window seat, and the girl in front of him puked out of the window without a warning. Poor man, before he could pull and close the sliding window, he was drenched, in what? Then the murmuring bus conductor had to stop midway to have this good man cleansed. All this time, my neighbor to my left was snoring happily, undisturbed. The bus moved on. Midway, in the Ghat section there is a place, by name Burlia, where the travelers stop for a piping hot cup of fresh Nilgiri tea. I specify Nilgiri tea because it has a special rosy aroma and an enjoyable cup of bliss in cold hilly climates, along with hot potato samosas, a signature snack only available there. Both go very well together. This place also sells exotic fruits like Vengustan and Bamblimas, which you will get nowhere else. But the real crown to all these, in that exotic surroundings, are its friendly monkeys. Amazing, they are. They ask you for food, and if you don't give, they go to the next person. They do not trouble anyone, like others of their kind do. It is also heartrending to note that, when you give the mother monkeys the fruits, they immediately feed their little ones, who are holding on to their bellies, with these fruits. Well, they are mother's love personified. It's tears they bring out of your eyes and thanks, out of your hearts, to their Creator, for having given such wonderful hearts to these and not to the humans. Maybe He made a lot of mistakes while creating humans, God only knows. Seeing these lovely little ones, with curious eyes and friendly faces, relieves one of all their pain and sorrow. God bless them, let humans learn from them how to love. After winding around 14 hairpin bends, a hairpin bend is a sharp turn upwards. In the otherwise winding roads, the bus touches a town by name Kunur. This place is famous for its exotic fruits. There is a huge park by name Sims Park, which comes up with the fruit show every year, and people from across the globe visit this place. Also, most of the Nilgiri tea plantations are found in and around Kunur. This town is well known for coconut balls, a signature snack of this town, crunchy outside and juicy inside. In a place by name Bedford, in Kunur, a bakery makes the most delicious minced mutton puff. Think of it today, my mouth waters. But then, even mixed vegetable puff with tea is great in those cold climates. One of my uncles reside here, and we used to visit his home during summer holidays and had great times with our cousins. A beautiful place Kunur is. After crossing many hamlets en route, we cross Valley View. As the name tell it all, from this place you can see the complete valley, up to the foothills and beyond, even Mettupalayam. It is from here the Ooty town limit begins. A cold breeze welcomes you to Ooty. Finally, we reach the bustling town of Ooty, in all its grandeur, with its sweet and friendly populace. I alight from the bus and head to the nearby tea stall for a hot cup of tea. It is biting cold out here, and a piping hot cup of tea with hot potato bondas, masala potato balls, dipped in gram flour batter and deep fried in oil, is always relishing. With these tongue smackers, satisfying my ravenous tummy, let us hang on for the next interesting episode tomorrow. Until then, have a blessed day.